Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today's debate is going to be care versus empowerment. The empowerment side supports the quality of life of individuals with autism, and that it's better when they have the ability to make choices for themselves. When we say quality of life, of course, we're talking about the basic human rights that allow people to interact with one another in a world on their own terms. Individuals with disabilities are human beings, and they should be afforded the same rights and privileges as every other member in the population. Often, though, they're faced with different sets of obstacles. As these individuals fight for more of their rights and independence, questions tend to emerge about how we can best accommodate these individuals so that they may experience the same basic rights as everybody else. The care side represents the notion that individuals who cannot necessarily advocate for themselves need a higher level of care, and that must be determined by someone other than themselves. For example, higher levels of care with regards to medical decisions should be made by medical professionals. Moreover, those who advocate for the care side believe that individuals with ASD are also best served in a setting where there are multiple individuals who can provide necessary accommodations if need be. While the care side, of course, doesn't argue against the rights or independence of individuals, their main concerns involve safety, the realistic ability that pertains to their quality of life as independent members of society, and the notion that independence alone is not necessarily enough to lead a healthy and sustainable life. Today's speakers for the empowerment side are Bryant.
Hi, I'm Bryant.
And we have Maria.
Hi.
And myself, Nicole. And then speakers for this care side today are going to be Trina.
Hello.
And Kelly.
Hi.
All right, thank you guys. So the first topic today that we are going to be discussing on empowerment versus care is self-determination, self-advocacy with regards to healthcare and medical decisions. We will be starting with the care side. Trina, take it away.
Thank you, Nicole. So, as you all know, I'm Trina. I will be speaking on behalf of the care side for this debate. Determining medical care for individuals who have a developmental disability has been the topic of debate for many years. Should the individual decide his or her own health care? Should it be the responsibility of the primary caregiver, or should it be a doctor's decision? Well, in the United States, we currently have a law that answers this tough question. Legally, it's the doctor's responsibility to determine an individual's level of functioning and possible limitations of the individual's disability in regard to making healthcare decisions. This determination is made based upon using the Disability Assessment Schedule. The assessment was originally created in 1988. However, the first edition only was designed to assess psychiatric patients. The second edition, which we currently use, was updated to cover a broad range of individuals and is used as the International Classification of Functioning, Disability, and Health, more commonly known with the acronym WHODAS, WHODAS 2.0. This is used to assess the 6 domains of life. The first domain is cognition. Cognition assesses communication and thinking activities. Specific areas assessed include concentrating, remembering, problem solving, learning, and communication. While domain 2 is mobility, this assesses activities such as standing, moving around inside the home, getting out of the home, and walking long distances. Domain 3 is self-care. Self-care assesses hygiene, dressing, eating, and staying alone. Domain 4, getting along. Getting along assesses interactions with other people and difficulties that might be encountered with this life domain due to a health condition. Other people being known as someone you know intimately, family or spouse. Other people not known well are strangers. Domain 5 is life activities. Life activities assess difficulty with day-to-day activities. These are things that people do on most days, usually associated with domestic responsibilities, leisure, work, and school. Domain 6 is participation. Participation assesses social dimensions such as community activities, barriers and hindrances in the world around the respondent, and problems with other issues such as maintaining personal dignity. The assessment is used to determine if the individual is capable of giving informed consent. In order for an individual to be able to provide informed consent, he or she must have the abilities to understand relevant information, appreciate the consequences of information for one's own situation, reason about the available options, and communicate a choice. While it is human nature to want to give everybody choices in their medical decisions, it is imperative that we ensure that each individual is fully capable of understanding every aspect associated with the decision. According to the Behavior Analyst Certification Board, as service providers, we are required to ensure a client's safety. Ethical Code 2.03b states that when appropriate, behavior analysts cooperate with other medical professionals to ensure that our clients are best served. If individuals are not capable of making informed consent, then these healthcare decisions should be left to the discretion of medical professionals.
Thank you, Trina, for sharing your position. I'm Maria Chiquies, and I will be speaking on behalf of that supports that quality of life is better when choosing one's own medical care. Self-determination or self-advocacy is an individual's ability to effectively communicate, convey, negotiate, or assert his or her own interests, desires, needs, and rights. These concepts work to ensure that the patient's right to make their own decisions regarding healthcare be communicated and protected. While I agree with Trina's point regarding the need to be evaluated to determine ability, but it should also be noted that resources should be used and exhausted before ever deciding that an individual is incapable of choosing for themselves. For example, they have to assess his ability, materials on the same information presented in various ways, etc. Too often, assumptions are often made with regards to individuals with autism and their ability to understand medical information. According to the medical clinics of North America, on a research that was conducted on primary care for adults on the autism spectrum, often these assumptions are made without reference to their actual capabilities, which can at least be addressed by obtaining the appropriate preliminary information on a patient. For example, is he able to communicate? Can he read? Can he write? Is he able to make an appointment? And many more. And unfortunately, the individual's lives may be severely impacted in doing so. Measures by the American Disabilities Act, or ADA, requires that the barriers to a patient's potential understanding be addressed on an individualized basis. It is the duty of the doctor and those close to the individual who should ensure that they assent or at least agree to treatments according to BACB Code 2.05 rights and prerogatives of clients, and that information referring to the individual be explained in a meaningful way. For example, one such measure is called Autism Healthcare Accommodation, or AHAT, created by Aspire, and is an interactive tool for patients and supporters to create a provider-friendly report of individualized strategies and accommodations to facilitate healthcare. This helps the individual indicate preferences to treatment and desired outcomes. Moreover, it is also important to remember that individuals with ASD are different types of learners. Some individuals need more time to process. Some need visual aids and support, while others may need communication tools like sign language or communication devices. According to a research about staff training in intellectual disability services, a review of the literature and implications for mental health services provided to individuals with intellectual disability. All of these factors that I already pointed out should be considered and implemented before any medical decisions are to be made on the behalf of another individual. And while I do agree with Trina that the cognitive abilities should only be determined by a doctor, but what measures are actually in place to ensure that doctors are exhausting all possible resources and not just using a one-size-fits-all assessment that was not even necessarily designed with the type of neurological traits exhibited by those diagnosed with autism? Thank you.
All right, excellent points. Thank you so much, Trina and Maria, for sharing your side's position on self-advocacy and self-determination with regards to medical care and decisions. For topic number 2, we are going to be discussing autism and the workplace. We're going to be starting with the empowerment side. Bryant, please go ahead, take it away.
Hi, my name is Bryant Gilman, and I'll be advocating for the empowerment side on the positive impacts on workplaces that employ individuals with disabilities and the financial benefits and morale that outweigh the risks. In terms of benefits, there are plenty. The National Autistic Society has noted that some individuals with high-functioning autism spectrum disorder may be particularly attentive to details, be meticulous about rules, accuracy, and routines. Along with this, some with high-functioning autism spectrum disorder have been known to be extremely persistent, technologically savvy, and have excellent long-term memory when it comes to specific facts. These qualities, when channeled correctly, can be very useful in the workforce and has already been displayed quite a bit in the fields of engineering, accounting, programming, and library science, just to name a few. Now, of course, this does not go for everyone with ASD, but it has been shown that when you guide those with a special area of interest, you can bring about these immensely useful skill sets. According to Bross, when an individualized education plan surrounds a special area of interest, like cars, for example, it not only promotes vocational skills for the future, but improves overall performance in school. We could see that here in a graph. So you can see here the special area of interest side has a much more positive trend line for academic success at school in the intervention phase than the non-special area of interest side of the generalized plan. So as we can see, excuse me, now as an employer, when you find those with a channeled special area of interest, hiring them no longer becomes a risk. If anything, it becomes an advantage in terms of employee efficiency, as again, these employees are known to be very reliable, persistent, and attentive to details. These skill sets and attributes have been shown to be within those with high-functioning autism, should be seen as an advantage, not an inconvenience or liability. This alone should dispel the myth that hiring those with ASD can cause lower quality of work or services when accepting the disenfranchised population. Now, in terms of ethics, things can get complicated. As someone who works directly with the client, you are upheld to the code of ethics that the BACB puts forth. This includes Code 2.02 of responsibility and advocating for his or her best interest. This would include aiding the client in aiming towards obtaining a job in the workforce in order to gain independence as the ultimate goal. This goal of independence aids in having the individual rely less on government resources, the need for constant supervision, and ultimately gives them a sense of empowerment that aids in overall well-being and quality of life. This can, of course, be difficult to understand when employers do not see the benefits of employing those with disabilities. Although employers are held to the same ethical standards that the BACB puts on those who work directly with the client, it is something to consider when assessing one's own personal code of ethics. As stated earlier, employing those with disabilities has benefits that outweigh the risks. This includes financial benefits of a different perspective, perseverance, attention to detail, and a large list of other aspects to consider. Not only will an employer benefit from this exchange, but also a sense of true empowerment can be given to that client. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Bryant. And now we're going to turn it over to the care side. So go ahead and take it away, Kelly.
Hi, thank you, Bryant and Nicole. So you certainly raised some great points, Bryant. I completely agree with the notion that people with autism should be involved in the competitive workforce. However, you neglect to mention the hurdles that make it difficult for individuals with autism to compete equally in the workforce and why it doesn't happen naturally. So in response to Bryant's ethical concern pertaining to the BACB Code 2.02 responsibility, the individual's readiness to enter a workforce typically depends on the type of curriculum they receive while in school. So the type of school they attend determines the type of skills and knowledge they accrue. Students with ASD are assessed and either placed into a diploma track or a certificate of completion track for their schooling. On the Indiana Department of Education website, they provide a frequently asked questions resource guide for what it means to receive a certificate of completion. It states, many students with disabilities who have had appropriate academic and vocational instruction and leave high school without a diploma are capable and willing to work. However, the existing certificate of completion is not recognized as a meaningful document by the employment community. So for the students that are in the certificate track, this automatically and severely limits the ability to secure a job. As for the kids that receive a diploma, they may not have had a curriculum that taught vocational skills to students since they are focused on completing educational requirements to meet the diploma criteria. So most of the students who do receive vocational skills training prior to termination of their education often do not achieve training at a level that they can function as an employee independently. However, most places of business do not allow an aide to be working alongside of an employee. So
Don't worry, Kelly. In most cases for transitioning youth.
For most cases of transitioning youth. Wait, guys, sorry, I completely missed my place. Are we able to edit these at all? I'm so sorry. Jesus Christ.
Just keep going. Don't worry about it. So youth, staff, job coaching.
God, guys, are we able to edit these?
I can't really. I would just keep going. It's okay.
Yeah, me too. I think you should go. Don't worry.
It's not that bad. And you're about to start talking about youth and independence.
It's so bad. My mouse slipped a little bit.
We can't.
No, we need to start over.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, if we can't edit it, we need to start over.
Oh.
I'm so sorry, guys.
How come we can't edit it?
Because it goes straight to YouTube.
Wait, you can't edit. I thought you can edit videos on YouTube because people do all sorts of stuff to their YouTube videos.
Maria, can we edit
it
this?
first?
I'm not sure. I can.
Oh
All right,
my
well, we
God,
got to
I'm so
start over. We got to
sorry.
do it. Don't worry. So, hey, so let's come up with a plan real quick, though, for if this happens again. So, like, as the mediator person, supposedly, I'm allowed to get us back on track. So I'm trying. I think what happened, though, is I made it seem as though we were reading a script. So next time, I will just say, all right, and our next point is with regards to, if I can, and Kelly, don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
Oh my gosh, it's a huge deal.
We got this. No, we got this. So the more we stress about it, the worse it's gonna, like, just restart, refresh. It's okay. We're actually moving through pretty quickly. So
Did you just
can't
lose
believe
your
that
place?
happened. No, I double, like, when I do the 2 thing, it like quickens up my, so it went to my other argument.
How can we tag team the test real quick?
Do you want, let me see if I can attach this mouse to my computer. I am so sorry, guys.
That's okay. Should we, like, maybe should we take the test real quick and then reconvene?
No, let's just get rid of this. Let's just
Can somebody who's taken it pull it up and we'll answer as we go? I'm just kidding. Okay, all right, let's do it. Let's start over.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Don't worry about it. Moving on.